Looks like Elon Musk is admitting to making a mistake and he is reversing course, trying to correct it. But is it correctable? Can you fully correct that mistake? I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what he's doing. And if there are other issues with this whole fiasco, we're going to talk about it right now. Taking over the world, electrifying the world, Welcome to E4 Electric. Go ahead and click on that subscribe button so you don't miss anything moving forward and become a part of this community. And we talk about electric car news that are pretty exciting this year every day. So go ahead and click on that subscribe button. All right, so let's talk about this. As you know, there has been a lot of controversy with Tesla changing prices 4 times just this year. And I think one of the biggest backlashes that Elon has gotten was the fact that when Tesla was selling full self-driving package, a couple of years ago even, they were encouraging people to buy it, and even though you couldn't really use it because it's not out, still not out right now, but those people will be the first ones to get it, and also at the same time, they will not have to pay more because people will not buy it right away, will have to pay more. So a bunch of people bought it, but recently when the prices were changing, Elon said that, well, guess what? We're actually going to lower the prices, and people who bought it in the first place, who still don't have it, said, wait a second, we bought it because we thought that's going to be cheaper and we're first adopters. How is it that you're screwing us over like this? And there was really no response, and usually the response is hey, listen, we're moving forward as fast as we can. The technology improves. We're trying to adjust the pricing. It is what it is. Now let me remind you, they have done it a few times before, including a couple of weeks ago, where they have lowered prices for cars up to $100,000 in China, and people were picketing and still, I'm assuming, are protesting this in Shanghai. They did the same thing with the Model 3 Performance, where he got called out and he had to admit that, yeah, that probably wasn't the best idea, and they were returning $5,000 to, kind of in the same situation. This has happened once again. But at the same time, it looks like Elon is doing the right thing and reversing the course. But there's a little caveat there, which kind of makes this thing still kind of a mess. Now, it all started when Elon tweeted that, they're upping the prices by 3%, but not closing all the stores. But then somebody pointed out this email that he sent, I believe it was to his employees, and it was like about 2+ years ago in 2016. And here's what it says. The acid test is that if you can't explain to a customer who paid full price why another customer didn't without being embarrassed, then it's not right. So somebody pointed it out to him, and it's his own, literally his actions went against his own words. And he did try to kind of defend it in some kind of a BS way, I have to say, because he says when prices go down, those who already bought want the lower price. But if prices go up, those who already bought don't want to write Tesla a check, so it goes on. Well, here's the thing. The only reason people, want the lower price and don't want to write a check is because you told them so. You told them that the prices will go up and not down. That's why they did it. And that's why they don't think they should be writing you a check if you're, upping the price, because you promised that's what's going to happen. But when you're lowering it, yes, you promised them not to. So I'm not quite sure where he's thinks that this argument is going to work, but at the end of the day, he decided he's going to do the right thing. I'll tell you what it is, but at the same time, I'm going to ask your opinion as well, but I don't see how this completely can actually be made right, because let me explain. Before that, of course, I want to let you guys know that this video and this channel is sponsored by Accelerate Auto. Amazing service for electric cars, extended service contracts for up to 125,000 miles on electric cars, including Tesla Model 3, only $100 deductible. And if you go into the description of this video, you'll find that there's an exclusive coupon, the discount code 4XCare, there just for our community. Unfortunately, it's not available in California, but they also offer business leases, including the Tesla Model 3, and that's available everywhere in the United States. All right, so let's talk about the tweet that Elon sent out after quite a few people tried to explain to him that, it's not cool to do this. And so he basically said, in retrospect, lower price shouldn't have been offered. was done so because some simply couldn't afford it. Prices revert to normal on Monday, and then once again he says those prices will revert to normal on Monday too. So great. I mean, first of all, it's obviously great that he's admitting the mistake here and they're going to do things right. But at the same time, what happens to people who have already got the full self-driving package for only $3,000 at the discounted price? Obviously, they won't be paying extra money. That would be silly to assume it's already sold. But what about those people who paid, I believe it was $4,000 or $5,000 beforehand? Will they be given a refund? And I think the answer is no. So I think the complaint is still the same, because really at this point, everybody who wants at this point to buy this package for cheap, they will, because they have, until Monday to do so, and that's a few days away. But everybody else who already bought it is still out of luck. I think the right thing to do would be to actually give the refunds. I think it's $1,000 or $2,000 for those who have paid the money before. Close this whole thing immediately and then up the price back to whoever starts buying the cars pretty much right now. I think that would have been the right thing to do. And yet I think let me know in the comments what you think. But let's talk about positives and negatives, of course. All right, so I think the positive is that, Elon doesn't admit mistakes very often, and it's good that he did this time. And he did try to make things right. I don't think it's going to make those people still happy, because again, the fair thing to do would be to actually give them refunds. But nevertheless, that is hopefully a lesson learned, and that I would say there's a second positive thing. Yes, I know they've done this quite a few times now, right? And every time there's a backlash, every time they have to revert, every time it's a back publicity, every time it's maybe stock goes down. I really hope that the real positive here is that Elon will actually learn his lesson and will think things through before sort of adjusting prices or making such a sudden move, especially when you might be screwing your current customers or first adopters. So I would say that's a positive. Now, unfortunately, the negative is that this still hasn't been really fully done right. That's, I have a feeling that those people who have bought the full self-driving package will still really not like the fact that people continuously still buying something that they paid for, $4,000 or $5,000. They're buying it at $3,000 right now. So that's a negative. But I think the biggest negative to me is that this was already in the mix, among with few other things about closing the store, opening the store, upping the prices, lowering the prices of the cars and so forth. The whole thing really looks like they don't know what they're doing. They don't have anybody in charge of marketing or PR, and the company just looks unstable. And this just contributed to that. I think that's the worst, really the biggest negative thing. Because to me, I think this company is in the best place they've ever been, right? They've been, profitable for a couple of quarters. I know they're not going to be profitable in Q1, but then it looks like they're still able to do that for the rest of the year. Model 3 that $35,000 is out. They just paid off a major loan. I mean, the Shanghai factory is happening. Model Y is just about like this company is a great place, and yet it is just looks so chaotic based on all of this news. So to me, that's the biggest sort of negative out of this whole thing. All right, guys. Well, let me know what you think. I'm definitely curious to know if you already have a full self-driving feature. Do you think that this is something that's still bothering you, or did it at all bother you? And what do you think would be the right thing to do? Let us know. I want to give a quick shout out to one of my newer Patreons, Brandon Reed. Thank you so much for joining my Patreon community. That's the only place where you can watch me live. And of course, you want to support and contribute to this independent YouTube channel, please go ahead and grab the link from the description of this video, and you can join my Patreon community at patreon.com/E4Electric. All right, guys, I'm looking forward to your comments. I'm sure there will be another story probably next week or so. I'll definitely keep you all up to date. That's why you should click the subscribe button if you haven't already. Other than that, see you next time, and remember to stay charged.